hear you're ready for your dose of reality. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode here of the Dr. Quack Podcast. I'm Dr. Quack.
1995.
We had to cover this. I mean, it's Wrestlemania.
Fine. And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. I'm not wearing the hat because it's 1995, and he gave me 1990. And Vince McMahon could not make his microphones work, so if Vince can't get it right, and this guy can't get it right, I don't care either.
Well, we're in for a great show today, ain't we? Yeah, April 2nd, 1995 at the Hartford Civic Center. Wrestlemania.
We got all kinds of garbage on this show, so I'm going to take over, and we're going to start with, we got Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler.
And we didn't get funny Jerry Lawler here.
No.
We got, horrible Jerry Lawler on commentary.
Yeah, we got bad one-liner Jerry Lawler that made absolutely no sense, that were like 3 years behind the time.
Oh, my God.
And we had the Pettingillis and Jim Ross on backstage interviewing on the walkway. Now, I will say it felt a little bit like a callback to Lord Alfred Hayes at WrestleMania 1. But JR's so much better than this. Pettingillis, fine. Stick him out there for 30 seconds and let him get embarrassed, fine. But Jim Ross? Really? Really?
Reasons. But I will tell you, yeah, here you go. Spanish commentary had Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Sanovich.
They also had Ray Rougeau and Jean Brassard doing the French commentary. And down the way, they had Carson Knie and one other for the German announcing. They had them all lined up here this time, and at least it felt good.
Yeah. You had Gorilla Monsoon on the Coliseum home video as well. Ring announcers, you had Howard Finkel and Nicholas Turturro. Yeah!
For those of you people who are not familiar with Nicholas Turturro, he's actually a really, really talented actor. At this time, the TV show NYPD Blue was a very big show. He went on to do such things as Brucey in The Longest Yard, and he was the little wimpy guy, and I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, that's a firefighter. Yeah. So I don't know why he went downhill, but at this time he was famous. So let's move on now to my part, the Chuck Norris approves, the singing. Originally, God Bless America was supposed to be done by a group called Fishbone. I had never heard of them, still hadn't heard of them. Have you heard of Fishbone?
Yes.
Were they any good?
Yes.
Okay, well, the lady that came out here, she was a Special Olympics athlete named Kathy Huey. And she did an operatic version of God Bless America. It's the best part of this show, and that's opening the show as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was a great job. By the way, referees, we got Mike Chioda, Danny Davis, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, and Tim White. That's a star-studded referee cast.
That it is. We had one more. We'll get to him when we get to that point.
Yeah. Well, let's move into the opening match here. The Allied Powers, Lex Luger and the British Bulldog, taking on the Blues Brothers, Jacob Eli Blue with Uncle Zebekiah.
Yeah, now, this is not the Blues Brothers. This is not Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. They came out in black suits and sunglasses. These are the Mountain Men, Jacob and Eli Blue, who are also Skull and 8-Ball in the Disciples of Apocalypse. And all the other bad gimmicks these two twins have been saddled with over the years. They're kind of talented guys, even though they're really sloppy because they don't have a lot of guts. They don't have a lot of character of their own. So they try and do whatever somebody else wants to do. And a lot of times it's out of their skill set. But when they call their matches, they're actually worth watching.
Yeah, if you're looking for the definition of 1995, usually you would take the Blues Brothers and partner them with Mantar.
Yeah. Against Aldo Montoya and the new Heart Foundation, or not new Heart Foundation, but the new Rockers.
Yeah, the new Rockers. Oh, my God. Yeah, this match, I liked the match. It was okay. You know, I love seeing Uncle Zeb out there. You know, we had Lex Luger. I'll be your hero. 2.5 stars for me.
I went 2. This match was okay. Again, you'll see that Jacob and Eli didn't have a lot of chemistry. Lex Luger was not a very good worker in the ring. The British Bulldog was decent, but he was trying to cover more for Lex Luger than anything else. I went 2. It wasn't thrilling. It was okay. Of all these matches, this really was the best opener. For better or for worse.
Yeah. And moving along here, we have Razor Ramon taking on Jeff Jarrett with the roadie for the Intercontinental title.
Rolling back, we tried to actually have an interview with Nicholas Turturro. He was supposedly, Vince McMahon cared about the celebrities more on this show than anything else. In fact, he opened the show with all the celebrities from the first 10 WrestleManias showing a thing of them. Not anything about Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior or Andre the Giant or anything else. No, it was the celebrities. And then we've got Nick Turturro. His goal is to find Pam Anderson. And his microphone didn't work, so just Jenny McCarthy walked up, and then they immediately cut, and they went, well, I guess his microphone's not working. We'll go back to Nick Turturro in a few minutes, which they unfortunately did. So now let's get into the IC title match.
Yeah, IC title match here. It's just, why? I mean, if you're going to have a championship match, why don't you have a definitive winner? There was a lot of problems with this. This match was done by disqualification. You know, it felt like just too much BS for one match. I gave it 1 3/4 stars. I thought the match at the Royal Rumble looked better than this match here.
Yeah, it was okay. Watching the 1, 2, 3 kid come out in his gi. Why? Razor Ramon also jumped the pyro because I guess there was supposed to be some kind of pyro thing going on, but he jumped the pyro, so everybody's jumping out of the ring. Then they had to get back into the ring for the pyro. DQ win. They were still building. Yay. I went 2, but I see why you went 1 3/4. That's probably more correct.
Yeah. It was really bad just in general. But let's move on to my 2-finger salute. And this don't get the fist. This gets the fist here. This don't get the fingers. Because I'm going to tell you why. Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on King Kong Bundy with Ted DiBiase. Yes, we had a special referee. Go ahead and tell me the special referee is.
All right, so the special referee at this time in 1995, MLB was on strike. Major League Baseball was on strike. So by that purpose, the umpires didn't have anything to do. So they brought in Larry Young, who was an actual American League umpire at that time. He retired officially in 2020. He was a really good umpire in baseball, but he came in and played referee for this match. And he actually was the best part of this match.
Yeah, because the rest of it kind of sucked ass. What really pissed me off with this match is that you had to have the urn situation. Kama Mustafa, yes, the supreme fighting machine, ha ha ha. Yeah, had to come out here and take the urn and supposedly, and later did, melt it down to a gold chain. I'm like, whose stupid idea was this? Was this Vic Venom? Was this his idea?
Actually, it wasn't.
That is a damn shocker.
It wasn't. Officially, nobody is claiming this story.
Of course not.
Because the $1 Million Corporation, Ted DiBiase, came out with the big 5-gallon urn.
Oh my God.
To start the match. Well, halfway through, Paul Bearer got it back just to have it stolen again. Again. Reasons. Why didn't you just have Ted DiBiase hand it to Kama Mustafa, and that could have started the feud? That would have caused a whole lot less problems. We wouldn't have got this dumb match. The only thing about it is The Undertaker was now, I believe this one made him 5-0 when he beat Bundy.
Yeah.
Bundy looked very cream puffish. It looked like he was really, I think this was towards the end, he decided not to do anything anymore in the wrestling biz. He went on to be on Married with Children, which was much better and much funnier. But his punches, meh,
Oh my God.
meh, meh.
And plus, after the match, he gets up and he tries to attack The Undertaker. He hits him with the avalanche. I'm like, no selling. What the hell? It's The Undertaker.
Yeah, 1.5. I'm sure you went lower.
Yeah, I went 1 star completely, and that's because of The Undertaker there.
I gave Bundy a little bit credit. Bundy is somebody that you generally like, and I'm generally a fan of Bundy.
This was not one of his best
I
matches.
gave benefit of the doubt of at least it was nice to see Bundy, but meh.
Yeah, moving along here, I'm going to get into my Quack Attack! Because this might have been my favorite match on the entire card. And I'm talking about Owen Hart and Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette against the Smoking Guns for the tag team titles. Reason why it was great, because nobody knew who was going to be Owen's partner. I remember as a kid speculating on who this might be. And I was very shocked to see Yokozuna come out there, and he just dominated this match. I thought it was beautiful because Owen got tag team gold and had to do damn near nothing. It was great. I loved it. It was a smart plan by Owen. Thank you, God. That gets my Quack Attack.
Yeah, this one here, then we'll go back because he was his Quack Attack. We'll go back to something that happened before this. Yokozuna was a nice surprise. I love the way that Owen Hart cut the promo of, he was still feuding with his brother Brett at this time, and he was choosing a tag team partner who had done the ultimate embarrassment to Brett. Took world title gold off him.
He beat my brother.
That was exactly the way it was put, and it was well done. Now, there was one screw up on a Roddy Piper on the microphone.
Oh, yeah, as referee.
As the referee, because this was an I Quit match. Now, what we're talking about here is if you already had the submission match, the really technical, classic 4.5-star I Quit submission match, now here we are 5 months later. Now they're doing an I Quit match, which is basically the same match. They should have done something different. They should have had a different format along the way, and they didn't do it. And we always got Piper. Backlund, do ya? No! Piper, do ya? Right. He did once. He said, Piper, do ya?
Roddy Piper was a great heel worker. He was
as
not
a face. He sucked.
And as a face, he sucked. And as a referee, he was awful. If you need extra footage, go look at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, when it was him and Kurt Hennig were the special guest referees for that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig did a good job. Roddy Piper
not so much.
Made referees want to quit.
If you want to go watch it, let's say we did and we don't.
Well, we reviewed it. Watch our review of it. That's all you need to see of it.
Yeah, that's facts here.
I went 2.5. While there was nothing technically wrong with this match, it was just very underwhelming. If this would have been first and then they did the awesome submission match later, that would have been a whole lot better. But you don't want to go down in quality on a subsequent match, and that's where this happened.
Yeah, and moving along, and I've got a lot to say about this match here. Diesel with Pamela Anderson taking on Shawn Michaels with Sid and Jennifer McCarthy. Let me tell you about this. This really got on my nerves. First off, they had this segment where Pamela Anderson got mad at Michaels. Michaels was looking for her, couldn't find her. And then you find out it's coming out with Diesel. So he grabs Jennifer McCarthy. So we got two beautiful blonde women in the 90s, and you put them out there on ringside. That's supposed to help get this match over. Nicholas Turturro doing his ring announcing, trying to get his match over. This is supposed to be a WWF title match, and guess what? It's not the main event because a celebrity goes ahead of this. We'll get into that. Overall, this match was about hot ass. This was about 2.25. If you really want to go that high, and I'm going to go for the 2 because there was 2 beautiful women out there.
Yeah, that's my rant from the beginning, that Vince in WrestleMania 11 focused more on the celebrities than he did on the wrestling. Now, yes, it's 1995. There wasn't a whole lot to work with from the beginning standpoint. There wasn't a lot of talent there to begin with.
I mean, the lowest selling, drawing champion ever, Diesel, in this match.
Yeah, and he beat Mr. Backlund in 18 seconds.
Yes.
So... Anyway, we got a lot. This was another thing this is where it really showed up. If you'll watch on this, which I'm sorry, I'm sure you can find a meme of it somewhere, and that's it, is Vince had all these cameramen right in front of the rampway, right around the ringside area. So they had to go around. Well, it was a very crowded, very cluttered ringside area. Referee Earl Hebner actually legitimately hurt himself trying to jump outside, and he tripped and fell over one of the cameramen and twisted his ankle and had to finish it because they didn't have another referee to send down there because they all were told not to interfere. So it was all crowded, but we get a lot more unprofessionalism from Shawn Michaels. He grabbed 3 different cameramen and threw them all around and moved them out of the way because they were in his way instead of just telling them to move.
I don't know why he had that unprofessionalism.
This and this and this and this, and his head got too big because Shawn Michaels, the boy on 3.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, that match there, it should have been the main event, but of course now we're going to move into.
Well, I got a couple more.
Oh, go ahead.
We've talked about this when we did our Dear Independent Wrestling segment. We've talked about it in many things. Diesel suffered the most debilitating thing of all. The mysterious forgotten injury. He got his ribs supposedly cracked against the ring post, laid outside for 45 seconds and did not move. And then all of a sudden he comes in the ring, he sells it for another minute or 2, and then his ribs don't hurt anymore. That's how good of a worker Diesel was. And his selling style was god-awful. It was lay there, face down, and tap one foot. That was his selling style, and good God.
Ow!
I'd rather hear ow. At least you can tell he's trying to sell he's pained, not that he's blown up or that he's snorting something.
It's true.
Now we can move on. This thing, and the horrible jackknife he gave Shawn Michaels. For two guys who were supposedly best friends, in another year going to be part of the curtain call, he went for the power bomb and Shawn Michaels landed on his feet and then had to take a butt bump and a back bump to take the jackknife power bomb.
Yeah. And now we go into the main event. Yes.
The main event.
And I'm going to tell you, now, there you go. Main event was Lawrence Taylor with all of his football players and Bam Bam Bigelow with all the $1 Million Corporation. I got to tell you, this is the honest truth here. Bam Bam did a great job making Lawrence Taylor look good.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Lawrence Taylor had some spots where he didn't look good, but for the most part, he carried this match.
Yeah, my apologies. The third special referee, because Pat Patterson refereed this match.
Yes, Patterson's had to come out there and referee.
With his banana.
Oh my God, yes he did. But yeah, I mean, the match, it definitely didn't belong as a main event. This was something that should have happened towards the middle of the card. Maybe even a semi-main would have been fine.
Yeah, it should have been the semi-main, but then when the football team came out, the All-American team, and with the $1 Million Well, Salt and Peppa were back up there, and they were cheering. Well, Bam Bam went after him, and that was the only funny part of the stuff with Salt and Peppa.
Yes, I mean, I love the fact that he came out there and intimidated him. I thought that was great.
And you're right. This match, I gave it 2 ratings. I gave Lawrence Taylor 1.25 stars. At least his forearms were believably well thrown, and he left his feet to jump and make them look impactful. While he was very limited, he did the best he could with what little he had. So I'm going to give him 1.25. I'm going to be fair. I gave Bam Bam 3 stars.
Yeah, and that about equals out for me about 2 3/4 if you combine them, because I really am not trying to take too much off Bam Bam. He's a hell of a worker. You go ask anybody who's ever worked him, they'll tell you that. The funniest part about this, and if you listen to the stories, it's true. They came back to the locker room. Bam Bam's not even sweating. He's sitting there going right through, going down, undressing everything. Lawrence Taylor needed an IV. Proof that NFL football players could not do professional wrestling, in my opinion. Majority of them had a tough time. They weren't conditioned for that kind of style of working.
Yes, the best conditioning you can do for wrestling is wrestling. Now, both of us, we were in the Army when we started wrestling, so we had a little bit of advantage running 5-6 miles every day. We adapted well, but still, for the first few months, it was tough to get longer than about 8-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And football players go 45 seconds at a time at the most.
Yeah, so I mean, that conditioning is a totally different level. But yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, the match belongs somewhere else down the card, and the championship should have been the main event. But of course, this was 1995. Nothing shocking there.
Well, the nice part is we're not going to 1995 because coming up next, we're going to just a little bit better 1996 with Wrestlemania 12. At least there's a couple of good matches there.
Yeah, there is. It's not bad. We'll get into that.
And next week, I'll have my hat on.
He'll have his hat on, and I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. Thank you for giving me your positive juices so I didn't choke the crap out of him, for putting me back through 1995.
We'll come visit 1995 one more time, but that's way down the road. See you next time.